Okay, hello Dev and Parth, welcome back to the podcast. Today we will be discussing Fantasy Premier League. Dev, it's your first time back after a long time. How are you feeling?
It feels good to be back, man. Thank you for having me. Been enjoying your content thoroughly over the last 2-3 months. So excited to be back with both you and Parth this time.
Parth, we spoke recently, but I'll ask you the cliched question again. How are you feeling?
This has become a weekend activity for me. We're doing it on a weekday today, but I reserve some part of my weekend now to do this.
I'm glad. Okay.
Parth, why does it look like you're a presenter at a Europa League game on Sony Live?
Because you are so informally prepared for this, someone needs to overcompensate.
I'm glad. You've always been doing that for us. I'm glad.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The first question I have is actually for Dev. They've a lot of price changes over the summer. Cole Palmer is at 10 million now. Haaland is at 15. But according to you, who are your most obvious choices in this year's FPL?
Yeah, I think I have 4 obvious choices. The first one I think I'd go for is Trent. He's a consistent performer. B, I know there's been a lot of chatter on, him. Is he going to play right back with Connor Bradley coming in and having, a decent last part of the season? I personally feel that if Slot has a bad season at Liverpool, Arnold's going to be eyeing a move to Madrid next season with Carvajal getting old. So I think he has a point to prove this season. So definitely betting big on him regardless of who the managers or how they land up on the table.
They will not play CM because Zubimendi is dying to come to Liverpool.
No, but he's rejected.
That is
he's
the
rejected.
Whole point, Jordan, dying to come to Liverpool.
Wow, I thought you didn't read it, bro. I thought you didn't read the news. Anyway, Dev, yes, you were saying.
My second pick would be Isaac from Newcastle.
Yeah.
25 goals last season, only 24. No European football. I think Eddie Howe has a point to prove again this season with Newcastle. So overall, I'm betting. What is his last name? Not playing European football. So I think Newcastle are again going to try to compete for the top 6. Well priced. Looks like a good 2-3 years ahead of him. So I'd definitely pick him long term through the season.
Okay.
Last one I think would be a Man City defender, Guardiola. 4 goals, 2 assists, in the last 7 games. 11 shots on target, only third behind, I think, Van Dijk and another player.
Yeah.
So overall, I also don't see him being at Pep's, what do you call it, rotation roulette.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a consistent guy. At 6.5, I think he'd be able to generate long-term points for any manager. So I think those 3 would be my must-haves for this season.
Fair. Parth, there's been a lot of talk about, because Haaland is priced at 15, Salah is I think at 12 or 13. Do you pick one of them or do you go for both of them? What are your views on that?
My view is, now, because of the change in the transfer rules, right, you have 5 transfers that you can save now. I think it would make sense to go for a safe bet and park some funds in Haaland at the beginning. So you can redistribute it if needed. But if Haaland goes crazy in the first few weeks, you're screwed, right? You're always playing catch up.
Yeah.
So 100% will start with Haaland. Salah, not really, right? Even for Liverpool, he's not really scored too many goals in pre-season. So I'm definitely going with Haaland, not with Salah. For sure.
So would you, if not Salah, would you go for any other Liverpool attacker?
Not really, but one Liverpool defender that I'm buying for sure is Konsa. So he started all the pre-season games, very good enabler to have. So I think Trent, Konsa and no other Liverpool player, honestly. No one in midfield or attack.
What about Jota or Gakpo?
So,
any of you guys?
Honestly, I thought about Jota because he's played down the middle a couple of times in pre-season and I think he scored 1 and assisted 2 or 3 goals as well. But Liverpool's front line has so much variety. I honestly, on paper, apart from Salah, I don't know who the other 2 will be. Like first game week could be Jota, Luis Diaz because he scored 2 goals on the weekend. But once Gakpo is fit, I can see Gakpo starting every game as either striker or left wing because
He's Dutch.
you know the Dutch connection. Exactly. I was just about to say that. Arne Slot will love him. He had a good Euros as well. And Darwin Nunez, you just don't know what you're going to get from him. So if he's like on form, he could play 5 games in a row. Otherwise, he could be dropped for 10. So I'm confused, but there's no clear-cut purchase apart from Salah if you do pick an attacker. So that's my view, Dev.
Or slight tangential, but early rumors saying Diaz has signed a contract with Man
No,
City.
I think Man City
or at least has
rejected
agreed
that.
terms.
Romano tweeted
Yeah,
saying Man City have
yeah.
denied it.
I read something
But
like
that'd
that.
be a wild transfer.
But I
if
don't
it
see
does
that
end up
happening, Dev, because they've obviously they are very, very careful with FFP,
Who
right,
they
this
buy.
summer. And they've got Doku, Grealish, and the new guy, Savinho. And I think they're
Savinho,
keeping
yes.
Oscar Bob and James McAtee both back as well. They can possibly play on the
I
wing as
also
well.
think Diaz
Bernardo-
would not want to play in the championship next year, so I don't understand why.
Fair. Okay, let's move on. So, Parth, question to you. Obviously, let's assume most people get the likes of Salah and Haaland, or Salah or Haaland. You need a lot of budget players, right? Because both these guys are so expensive. Saka and Cole Palmer are at 10 million each as
Yeah.
well. So you need a lot of these, budget 5, 5.5, 6 type of players across your formation. So who are those picks that you think stand out this year?
So one for sure that I'm looking at is Minte from Brighton, right? He's had a tremendous preseason.
Yeah.
And he actually looks, he passes the eye test also. If you see the Brighton games, he looks extremely lively and energetic. But
Okay.
again, new manager, so you don't know how they'll do, right? So
Sure.
that is the only reason why I'm thinking, again, not fully sure about him. And then Morgan Rogers could be a good 4th or 5th midfielder to have on your
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah.
So these are the two I'm considering right now. There is one more, but I don't want to reveal.
That's fair. But any thoughts on Ahmad? Do you think he's a good long-term or short-term
You don't know
player?
if he'll play or not, right? We have Rashford and Garnacho. I don't know if he'll really play that regularly. That's the biggest worry with him. So let's see how
Also-
the season starts for him, and then
Also
maybe.
because Garnacho scored last weekend from the right, so I don't know.
Ahmad is
man.
not going to play over Garnacho. So I think Rashford will drop out Garnacho and move to the left if
Yeah.
Ahmad has to come in. But I think he's going to start with Rashford and Garnacho. Ahmad is not going to start. in
Even
my
though
opinion.
Ahmad's had a great preseason.
Yeah, but he's younger. You can't drop Rashford right at the start, right?
Yeah. And
So-
you'll bring back Garnacho straight away.
Yeah, 100%. Why would you not? Unless he's not fit. But if he's fit,
Got
then
it.
he's coming back in, right?
Fair.
He's better than
And-
Ahmad.
Fair. And any defenders or strikers that you think are worth keeping an eye
Solanke
out
might
for?
be a
Yeah.
good option now. I
Yeah.
don't know if you classify him as a budget striker, but I think now that he's
But
moved to Spurs,
he's
might be a
priced
super
at
good
7.5
option.
part. I think there was one pick of yours last year that did well, which I see on a lot of teams, which is that Muniz guy from Fulham.
Yes, Rodrigo
Yeah,
Muniz.
yeah.
Yes.
He's in my
yes.
current draft.
So any thoughts
Yeah,
on him?
he's a-
Is he like, I don't know so much about the Fulham squad, but is he like their lone striker up top?
So, I mean,
They have Rodriguez, but I think Muniz is starting over Rodriguez at least in pre-season. So he's
Rodriguez
expected
or
to-
Jimenez? You mean Raul
Jimenez,
Jimenez?
Jimenez, sorry,
Yeah,
Jimenez,
yeah, correct. No, also, he scored majority of Fulham's
Yeah.
goals in the latter half of last season, and they've given him the number 9 jersey. So I think he's going to start, honestly. And another thing, Dev, since you asked about Muniz, is after the first game, they have a relatively easy fixture list.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talk about either Muniz
Yeah.
or Emil Smith Rowe,
Yeah.
who's available at 5.5 mil and playing in the number 10 position. So one of them could actually help you
That's a
spread
good
your
one.
funds brilliantly. And just one more point I wanted to add about Solanke. He's definitely, I was kind of playing around with him as well, because Ange Postecoglou's
Yeah.
side will create a lot of chances. You know that,
Yeah.
like they love attacking.
But Ronak, who will he replace in the starting
Richarlison.
11? Will he go start? That is again something I'm not.
I
you
see
don't-
Richarlison. See, pre-season Kulusevski played down the middle.
Exactly,
But but again, yeah, that's a good question, because You could have Son playing there and Brennan Johnson on the left and then Kulusevski on the right. So I hear you. It's one to watch out for. Maybe not go in right away because he might not start the first game as well.
But
Fair. Cool.
you touched upon Emil Smith Rowe. I think I really liked him at Arsenal. I thought he had a lot of flair. He was young. It was sad that he sort of got frozen out of Arteta's squad for the last couple of seasons. I think he has a point to prove as well. He was one of those young crop of English players, along with Saka, trying to make a bid for the English side. So I would actually bet heavy on him having a good season.
But wouldn't you rather buy Pereira? Like just hot, right? If you have to buy someone like that.
Pereira is more
0.5
expensive,
more,
Parth.
0.5, but you're right, slightly more proven
He takes
playmaker
penalties,
on corners.
set pieces. Wouldn't you rather gamble with him until Emil Smith Rowe actually does something and then you buy him?
So the way I look at it, if you look at Pereira over a long-term thing, I definitely feel he'll get more points than Emil Smith Rowe. But I've seen in FPL, you'll have certain players that will just have a streak of 7-8 games, like Højlund had for United, right?
Yeah.
If you can time that streak and like milk it for 4-5 things, I think that's where you can create a big differential compared to some of the other managers.
So Parth, coming to the next point, after the first game, I know Chelsea have Man City in the first game. But after that, the next 6 fixtures look so easy, right? There's been so much talk about Cole Palmer, Nkunku, I don't know, Jackson, Gusto. But would you go for Chelsea players?
So my opinion right now is again Chelsea, you don't know who will start, right? They have like 100 players. Like I'm not even joking. They'll have close to that number. They'll have 45
in the entire squad. Yeah.
In the first team, right? Like it's ridiculous. So you don't know who will start, who will play, who will get injured. Again, they also seem to have a very serious injury problem for some reason. So honestly, I'm staying away until one person establishes, like Cole Palmer did in the squad, plays every game. So till then, I'm staying away, honestly. And Nkunku might be super interesting
6.5
he is
and 6.5
playing more or less. Yeah, very. The way he's priced, he has the potential to become like a must-have, like.
Stats-wise, Parth, you're correct. He's the third or second most owned midfielder so far in most of the managers' teams.
But it's risky. I would not go with him, right? Because he's an easy transfer in. Because he's 6.5. So I don't know. Honestly, I would stay away from Chelsea players. What is your strategy?
Honestly,
what are you planning to
I
do
was very, very tempted to get Nkunku in because I was like, I can't afford Cole Palmer, but I wanted a Chelsea player just based on their fixtures. But honestly, I realized, I know Nkunku played like 4 of their preseason games and scored a couple of goals, but he played in the number 10 position. But he played there because Cole Palmer was not available. Now that Palmer is back, there is no way Palmer is not playing in that number 10 position, right? And now they've got Pedro Neto as well, who I would assume is, it's just ridiculous.
I was just going to ask you, Ronak. You love taking gambles. Would you take a gamble with someone like Pedro Neto?
I would not with any Chelsea player at the minute. The only one I am actually tempted to get because of his price is Robert Sanchez, because he started all their preseason games, but having said that, they have 6 goalkeepers as well, so I just don't get it. I don't get it. Reece James has got injured again, so you would assume Malo Gusto would start, but it's just it's a market, man. Like you don't know who is going to play. So I agree with what Parth said. Like probably see for a few games. If it is Nkunku who's kind of established himself and scoring goals from the first or second game onwards, he's an easy person to get in. But you don't know again because you could have someone else. Now, if they get Joao Felix, I've been reading rumors, he might be playing from the left or as a number 10. So then you have, or a striker. So you have Nkunku and Palmer and Joao Felix all vying for the same position. So it's a little bit of a
tough
risk,
one.
Plus, if you remember last year, again Chelsea had very easy fixtures. I think everyone started with 3 Chelsea players. And then you quickly swap them out, right? Because it was not working out. Nicholas Jackson showed some
Sterling,
promise.
I remember. So I had Sterling myself. We were,
and Chilwell and James.
All these players had like 2 game streaks, and the minute they had the first game, everybody bought in. 1 game return, and then like 5 games there. You're hoping something comes.
And they've to add one last point about Chelsea. They haven't won a single preseason game. at least against an established side. So I don't think the new manager Enzo Maresca actually knows what his best 11 is either. He used to play 3 at the back with Leicester all of last season, but he's played 4 at the back at times with Chelsea, 3 at the back with inverted fullbacks with Chelsea. So he probably needs some time to figure his best 11 and formation out as well. So till that doesn't happen, I think it's just safe to not pick any Chelsea players. Okay, let's move on. Div, coming to you now. Who are your one or two gut calls that you'll have this season? So last year it was James Maddison at times for you. It was Cole Palmer for the rest of the world. But who is it this year?
So funnily enough, I do actually have Maddison
Of course you do.
written down,
Of course
maybe a
you
little
do.
for emotional
Of course
reasons. He did win me a full league once, so I owe it to him. No, but I don't know, man. I'm feeling very strongly about Bruno. Priced at 8.5, I still feel he has a couple of really good years ahead of him. I genuinely think he's going to carry a lot of confidence, from that FA Cup victory. Højlund and the new striking partner, I think both of them are going to do well. Having someone like Van Nistelrooy in the coaching setup for him mentally is going to do well. So I don't know, my gut tells me it could be like, we could see like a 2021, the first 2 years, the kind of returns Bruno had. We might, see a glimpse of that this season.
Fair. Parth, what about you?
Again, going to be biased and pick a United player. I think this is Garnacho's year. Like, he's just going to destroy the league this year, I feel. Because he learned how to shoot with his left foot also now. Which I feel is an insane skill which he was lacking, but he's made it so much better. I think this is his year. He's going to be a star. And I just hope we can keep him away from Madrid.
Parth, I hate to say it, but he's eventually going to go to Madrid. You know it.
Yeah, just give him a 10-year contract
Chelsea
like they do with all the Chelsea players, right?
Palmer just signed a new one and they've extended it by 2 years, so his contract runs till 2033.
Exactly. I don't get it.
Just do it with Garnacho.
Yeah, they should just, they should give him Sancho's salary, which is like 250,000 quid a week, and just keep him back, like, honestly. But I hear you, man. That guy is super talented, and I really hope he has a great season and he's injury free, touch wood, so that he has a good one.
My gut call also is Porro, right? Now everyone's gotten used to Postecoglou's system, so I think even he'll do really well again this year. If he manages to stay fit throughout.
Fair. And I think because...
What about you?
I was just about to touch upon that. You said Pedro Porro. It's another Tottenham player that I'm actually thinking will do pretty well, and that's Dominic Solanke. The reason I say that is because Ange's system is so attack oriented, right? Whether they lose, win, concede, he doesn't, like, he will go for goals. And Solanke is a brilliant poacher, in my opinion. Like, he's just, in a team like Bournemouth, he's scoring close to 20 goals, man. Like, he's smelling that 6-yard box every second. So if Maddison stays fit and Son stays fit, there will be multiple chances for him. And I expect him to bury it, whether it's against an Arsenal or a Leicester City or a Southampton. He will be there. He's your perfect kind of 6-yard box player. So I think he'll do well if he stays fit as well. And one more player I want to quickly touch upon. I'm hoping it is Amad Diallo. I do not know how that will work. Priced at 5 million. I think that guy, if he plays with Garnacho on the left, assuming Rashford falls off very soon, he will do well because he has shown bright sparks end of last season and this preseason as well. So I hope he does well. Okay.
Just to add to your Solanke point also, Ronak, I think it's rare that a player gets a chance at a top 5, top 6 club 3 times, right? One year at Chelsea, a year or two, I think, at Liverpool. Couldn't make a mark, young guy. I remember he missed a crucial penalty. So coming back to Tottenham is again a big step up, right? So I think again he has a point to prove. So I think that's a good one. He could be a good star to watch out.
Bournemouth is his level, right? He is. Like, these English strikers are so
Here we go again.
He's fine. He's a decent average English players in general. Except Mino, I have not seen a single English player who's not.
Wayne Rooney! What the hell?
But
Wayne Rooney wearing it. Let's go.
Current players I'm talking about.
Go,
all of them are really pretty shit, and for some reason everyone thought England is going to win the. They fluked their way to
But
the
you said
finals.
this in the last video, you don't have to
did.
say it again.
And they did.
But yeah, so he's average, and he's meant for Bournemouth. Like maybe Spurs also 6-7, but he'll never make it to a top club. He's not that good. Honestly.
Maybe Parth, but
Ronak, we
he
should,
kind of smells these chances though. That's what I feel.
I think in Bournemouth, he's the only attacking threat. Every single ball is fed to him, so he's scoring all the goals. Also think it's a function
Fair.
of that, right? Smaller teams, you always play
Fair.
to your striker. I don't think in Spurs he'll do as well as many goals as he was scoring in
You
Bournemouth.
think
I
the
don't
likes of
he will.
Muniz at Fulham will do better than Solanke this year?
Yeah, because they're better strikers, but they're not English, so they will not
Here
go
we
for
go.
40 million.
65 million, Dominic Solanke. That's just
65
ridiculous.
million.
That is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's a big
Bro,
move.
we got
Big money move.
Matthias de Ligt and Mazurai combined for a lesser fee. Okay, we have a very, very, very special guest right now on the podcast. It is she was almost the champion last year in our mini league, but she forgot to make her transfers for 2 consecutive weeks when she had a 60-point lead. But yeah, Vidhi Jain, welcome to the podcast. How do you feel?
Hi guys, I feel very very honored. Thank you so much, Ronak. I am shocked and honored to be on this podcast.
Why are you shocked?
I mean, I didn't expect to be on this when I was a child.
Wow. But, I mean, to be honest, it's an FPL podcast. You beat your husband, you beat your friends, they were Ronak, so you deserve to be on this podcast more than us, to be honest. But anyway, come.
A beginner's luck has lasted for 3-4 years now, man. It's ridiculous.
Parth, what I wanted to ask you was on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was it modeling and managing 2 teams in parallel?
What?
Because come on, Vidhi, we both know Parth was.
I wouldn't have made my primary team lose to that other team, first of all. And you still have not paid her for all the bets that you lost to her for FPL.
I said I'm going to share all the GPay screenshots. Hello.
Okay. Good banter to kick us off. But Vidhi, question to you is, man, how did you firstly get into FPL?
Okay. I mean, I think it's all been part, and it was COVID. I had a lot of time in my hands, just to put it bluntly. But I realized that you guys are doing it badly. So maybe I'll need to
Wow.
challenge.
Wow.
No, but it was interesting. I was watching it anyway, and I think I got
Yeah.
more interested in football because of FPL. I started
Fair.
following like random other clubs. I'm obviously a United fan, as you can tell, but I
Yeah.
started following other games, other clubs, and players from different teams. And I think that's thanks to only FPL, because I wanted to know how my players are scoring, etc.
Yeah.
So I think I did it a couple of weeks, just like without any expectations, and it turned out to be interesting. I continue.
Once I came home and saw she's watching Wolves versus some random team, like Wolves versus, I don't even remember.
Leeds or something.
Leeds, yeah. And it was not an interesting
Wow.
match. And I would not watch it. Like, I would watch highlights.
Love
And
it.
she's sitting and watching the whole thing because Bamford is playing. Something like that.
Parth,
it.
do you remember the time Vidhi lost, I think, 36 points because you didn't tell her how wildcard was played on purpose so that you could
I
win
didn't do
that
it
league?
on purpose, man.
Come on,
I told her 10 times click on play wildcard. She did not click, but it's not my
Yeah,
fault.
nobody's ever going to forget that incident. But
Minus 36 straight.
I think
But,
she
you know-
still beat both of us, by the way, that year.
I was just going to say that. Having said that, in a previous year, she still beat quite a few of us. And last year, after leading the league for I don't know what
35
three
weeks.
weeks left. Yeah, 35 weeks. She still beat all 3 of us. So wow, man, like that means we are clearly doing something wrong for the first 35 weeks. Okay, Vidhi, just wanted to know, curious to know, since you've beaten all 3 of us in the previous few years, how do you go about your research and making changes on a weekly basis?
Research.
I'm not sure if I want to share my deep insight.
No, I mean, don't tell me a YouTube channel's name if you see a YouTube channel, but what do you kind of do? That's what I'm trying to say.
She doesn't know there are YouTube channels on
I do know
FPL.
there are YouTube channels, but no, so I'll just tell you like what I think about it and what my approach has been. I think a very underrated strategy is to just look at what other people are doing I mean, especially who's getting sold. For somebody who's not watching every match of every other team, I don't know who's performing badly the last few weeks. So I
Yeah.
do look at who's getting sold the most and try and understand why. And I pretty much do the same thing sometimes. And just take like one punt or one risk per week. I think most people like get emotional about their teams or their favorite players and end up not following the numbers. So that's one. And I think, much like everything else in life, it counts to just show up. I've learned this the hard way. And I mean, over a couple of years of now playing FPL, that if you just play consistently, take minimal risks, you'll be near the top. And if you're near the top already, just can minimize the variance by taking too many big risks.
Okay, that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed this discussion on FPL. I would love to see in December, January if any of our predictions have come true. It was a pleasure hosting you guys again, Vidhi, Parth and Div. Vidhi, your first time. Hope to have you back as FPL champion of Lad Bible very soon. But any closing comments from any of you?
Quick question: what is the rank that you guys are targeting this year?
I mean, honestly, I'm not looking for a global rank. I am just looking to beat Vidhi and come on number one on our mini league, Lad Bible. So let's see if I get there. Let's see if I get there.
I think I'd want to genuinely aim for a top 50k. I think my highest has been 73k, so a 50k finish would be good.
What about you, Parth?
I'm targeting
Beating
top
your wife?
5k because my best is 6k, but I will end up closer to 5 million. I know that from now. So
Glad you're setting your expectations right.
I think Vidhi, you should poke him and say first beat me. Last 2 years he hasn't done that.
Yeah, I don't want to be too premature with this, but guys, just have basic goals like trying to beat.
Okay, guys, been a pleasure. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Ronak.